All right, guys, good morning. Welcome to the Clack Shack. Got a little milling to do today, so we got to come around here and get the tractor out. I got a couple of logs I got to unload from the trailer, and got a few cedar logs and small trees that I've got to mill for a guy. So stick around, and we're gonna see if we can't get some work done today. All right, guys, first thing we're gonna do this morning is I got this little small log right here that I got a guy that wants some pieces for some handrails. We're just gonna rip some off of this little thing. It isn't much good for anything else, so I've got it set up, and I'm just gonna knock a couple of little boards off of it. that's kind of what we're after right there. Basically just enough to make a handrail, but not too huge. So we got that one. I'm gonna flip it over now and knock one off the other side. And this will be his handrails he wants. Ran into a little trouble with this big limb right here hitting my sawmill, so I had to kind of loosen it up to where I can move it out of the way. But I think we're gonna call that handrails, and he can cut this stuff up however he wants and go from there. But surely that'll be enough for him. All right, I'm gonna run this wood down there and drop it off at the shack, and I got to come back. I got some more wood in this weekend or this week. I got to get that unloaded. Got some nice red oak, but we're gonna come back up here once I get the red oak unloaded. I'm gonna come back up here, and I got a couple of cedars I need to cut up for a job I got. So stick around. All right, got a few boards. These little cedar trees like this that are kind of small, I have to kind of cut short lumber out of them because the taper in these cedars sometimes is excessive, and if you don't cut them short, you wind up wasting a lot of wood. And most of the stuff that I build with cedar is going to be small anyway, so I try to stick with the shorter logs, and that way I get less waste as far as the tree as a whole. Ended up, like I said, I cut a few 1/2-inch boards. I cut some 3/8, and they even got one 1-inch on the bottom there. I've got a couple of projects that I'm doing, and I got a couple of folks that are wanting some shelf coverings, shelf linings. And one thing that I found to use this thin cedar, these little small pieces like this for, is in a lot of your manufacturer grade housing, kind of like mine, in the laundry room and the closets, they put these little wire shelves up. Well, those wire shelves, they work pretty good if you're putting boxes, you know, shoe boxes and stuff like that on those shelves. But if you're putting anything like, you know, sunblock, or, you know, for you ladies, you got hairspray, you got fingernail polish remover and stuff like that that may be in those little closets, especially the one in the bathroom. The little wire racks, stuff just falls over constantly. You can't get anything to set up right. We've got one in our bathroom that is a kind of the linen closet, and that's where the towels and, you know, the extra sheets for the bed and all those cloth items are stored. But then we also have a section of it for first aid and stuff like that, because believe it or not, we do have a lot of first aid incidents around here, whether it be a mashed finger from a log or, you know, cut from brushing up against something you shouldn't have. So the problem we were having was those things standing up. So I took and I figured out that I could cut some of the small stuff that I don't use for anything else and cut it kind of thin. This is maybe like 3/8 of an inch thick, a little over 1/4 of an inch thick. Woo, cedar. And you take that stuff and kind of cut it to line those closets, and you get two things. You get a good, nice, smooth place to set your stuff, and when you open your closet, you get that old time, you know, cedar closet smell. So something you might want to think about, especially if you've got a newer construction house. Cedar smells a lot better than fresh paint and sheetrock. But got quite a few of those, the thinner boards. Actually had a guy message me wanting some, so I figured while I was up here today, I'd go ahead and cut some. These are a little thicker for, I did the 1/2-inch ones more for the freestanding shelves where you go to Home Depot or Walmart or somewhere and you buy those little braces that go down through there, and you buy those little lock-in hooks. These actually make really good shoe racks. You can take 2 of those, or you can take 1 of those, however you want to do it. Put that in the bottom of your closet. Buy those little brackets, and actually have like a multi-level shoe rack. And that's what I've done in my house. And as you can tell, this cedar, other than the water that I put on it to cut it, it was actually pretty dry. This was a burn pile rescue, so it had been laying there for a few years in the Alabama sun. Wasn't much moisture left in it at all. But there's one more of those thinner pieces. Put that guy on the bottom. And then, of course, my last piece is a 1-inch. So, but the good news is, when I cut this log, I knew that my last board was going to be a little thick and was going to be a 1-inch thick piece. So I left the majority of the sapwood on this one, and I can sell that for somebody to put a deer mount on or something like that, or some kind of decorative piece. But that's going to go over here in my miscellaneous wood pile. You get a lot of those some days. All right, I'm going to move this lumber back here out of the way a little bit, and I got one more cedar log on the tractor that I got to get off of it where I can go down to the shop with this load. So we're gonna get this guy loaded on there. All right, guys, I was about to go take a break for a minute, but this is a curious looking cedar here. I want to just put this on here and run the blade through it just to see if this is going to actually end up in my burn pile or not. It's got a cavity right there and some little bit of like rot or whatnot right here. So that's either going to make this log junk or it's going to make for some really interesting looking wood. So I can't wait to see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and run the blade through it. All right, I was right. It was some pretty interesting figure in that wood there. Kind of curious as to what the next board looks like. But I'm gonna wait on that. Ooh, horsefly. I'm gonna wait on that until I get back, but I'm just gonna share this with you on what this grain looks like. And see, that's gonna be a unique little feature in that right there. Might get playing with some epoxy on that or something. But right here is where the little rotten spot was, and it has got some very interesting grain there. So I'll mill that one up after a while, but for right now I'm gonna take this down to the shack, unload it, and go get a glass of sweet tea.